Have you ever wondered how miniature food art is created? How artists manage to transform simple materials into tiny, tantalizing tacos or microscopic masterpieces that look good enough to eat? Well, today we're going to delve into the fascinating world of miniature food art and understand the intricate, meticulous process that goes into creating these bite-sized wonders. First, we need to understand the materials that are used. The foundation of most miniature food art is polymer clay, a versatile material that can be sculpted, baked, and painted to resemble almost any food item you can think of. From the glistening red of an apple to the textured surface of a freshly baked bread loaf, polymer clay is the key to creating realistic miniature food. So, how does one start? The first step is to decide on the food item you want to replicate. The world of food is vast and varied, so it can be quite a task to narrow it down. Once you've decided on a subject, the next step is to study it. Yes, just like a painter studies a landscape or a portrait, a miniature food artist studies their chosen food item. They observe the colors, the textures, the size, and the shape, and use these observations as a guide when sculpting their miniature masterpiece. Next comes the sculpting process. This is where things get really interesting. Using a variety of tools, including toothpicks, needles, and even their own fingers, artists painstakingly mold and shape the polymer clay until it resembles the food item they're trying to replicate. This process can take anywhere from a few hours to several days, depending on the complexity of the food item. Once the sculpting process is complete, the next step is to bake the clay. This hardens the clay and sets the shape, making it durable and long-lasting. After baking, the miniature food item is allowed to cool before moving on to the next step, painting. Painting is where the miniature food item really comes to life. Using acrylic paints and a fine brush, artists add color and detail to their creations. From the browned edges of a tiny taco shell to the red and green of miniature bell peppers, painting is what gives the food its realistic appearance. Finally, after all the sculpting, baking, and painting, the miniature food art is complete. But the process doesn't end there. Many artists choose to preserve their creations under a layer of varnish. This not only enhances the colors and gives the food a glossy, appetizing appearance, but also protects the delicate art from damage. To summarize, the process of creating miniature food art involves several crucial steps: choosing a food item, studying it, sculpting it out of polymer clay, baking the clay, painting the details, and finally, varnishing it for preservation. Each step requires patience, precision, and a keen eye for detail. But the end result, a tiny, tantalizing taco or a microscopic masterpiece, is certainly worth the effort. So the next time you see a piece of miniature food art, remember the painstaking process that went into creating it. And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to try your hand at this fascinating art form yourself. After all, in the world of miniature food art, the possibilities are endless, and the only limit is your own imagination.